Good morning. Welcome to this beautiful day in the Sunburst Sanctuary, in this gorgeous temple. The message today is about the virtue of loyalty, the value of loyalty. I'd like to read a quote, very short. And the quote is from Sylvester Stallone. And we remember his character in the movies as Rocky, the humble fighter. I realize that love is absolute loyalty. And this kind of loyalty is so strong, can be so strong that it can help us weather the trials and challenges in our lives. I'd like to share some excerpts from my journey. Back in the 1970s, Norm, the founder of Sunburst, asked many of the members at the time to write their autobiographies, as he was writing his autobiography at the same time. The thing about Norm that really touched me and really increased my loyalty to the words that and the teachings that he was giving to us was this great love and joy that was emanating from his eyes and his actions, his love for spirit. I remember when the first day I came to the community, it was up on Gibraltar Road. It was the Sunburst Farm. And I happened to get a book of Norm's talks, which he had written. At that time, he was leading every Sunday meditation, or most of them. And some of those talks were written down. So I took a couple of the pages up a canyon and sat down by a rock near the stream. And as I was reading these beautiful words of loving God and the spiritual truths that were on that page, I started to get tears in my eyes, because I remember the months before that when I was hitchhiking across country and looking for different communities to visit. And the only book that I had in my backpack was the Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. And every night I would read a couple chapters from that book when I was inside a tent in a snowstorm in the Colorado Rockies next to a German Shepherd dog that kept me warm during the night. And I just thought of, boy, I would like to go out to the West Coast and visit and be in Yogananda's presence. So I was reading those books of talks, and Norm mentioned that he lived at Mount Washington, and he was a direct disciple. He lived for 5 years with Yogananda, and I just felt Spirit just saying, "Here you are. You're in good hands." And I think that's why I had tears in my eyes, because I realized that everything was all right. Everything was going to be all right. And just that morning, I was living in this little, it was like a little converted garage apartment on the Mesa in Santa Barbara, and I'd go down to the ocean and kind of walk along the beach. And this is the day before, and I just felt so like my life was coming to an end, or it was like I didn't really know. It was like a beginning or an end. And I started walking out into the ocean, and I don't know. I was in despair, and I walked out in the ocean, and all of a sudden I heard this voice inside of me or outside of me. It said, "Everything's going to be all right." And then 24 hours later, I was sitting on that rock in the creek, near the creek. So things happened really fast. Norm had a very strong message as far as meditation. And to us young folks, he was saying how you need to meditate at least twice a day, once in the morning when you rise, and once in the evening before you retire. And to help us with that pledge of allegiance, that loyalty, we meditated together as a group in all the different communities, morning and evening. And I think that's why Sunburst became such a magnet for many souls, and we had so many just wonderful experiences. And I took that to heart myself, and it's been almost 50 years, but I try to make a morning, my meditation in the morning and the meditation in the evening. And sometimes it's really hard work. And sometimes I was blessed early on with some experiences which confirmed some of Norm's beautiful teachings and experiences. And then there were long times of drought, of not seeing anything or not experiencing anything. I'd like to read a quote, and there's no author ascribed to it. It basically says that loyalty, the virtue of loyalty, helps gather souls together in groups, in families. And that quote by Sylvester Stallone, love is loyalty. Norm used many words for the divine presence, that divine energy. He called it divine consciousness, I am that I am. A lot of the words that we associate, those words we associate with the most common name that we associate, that is with God. And Norm had always talked about that inside of us, inside of our souls, is a divine consciousness. And that consciousness is what we merge with that consciousness, with the great I am that I am presence that fills all creation and fills us. So that God becomes really, really personal. And that relationship, I've been feeling more and more in tune with myself. And it is from that relationship we can understand these truths that come upon us, these spiritual truths. And we can more fully understand what the what the man Jesus was saying about the kingdom of heaven is within us, because that realization dawns on us that, we don't have to go anywhere. All truth and all knowledge is within us. So I was really inspired to share with you today these experiences that I've had. And I'd like to encourage you all to be loyal to the truths that you have received through the course of your lives. And to the thing that I realize more and more, and something that Norm had said, is that as we go along, we can see that every face that we look at is our own. Is that we have that the divine is reflected in the face of every person. Another spiritual truth that really touched me, what he expresses, that any time that we overcome something in ourselves for the sake of that inner kingdom, that pure self, that divine consciousness within us, that is broadcast to every living being in the creation on this planet. And at this time of great transition, of all the things that are going on in our world, it is so essential to broadcast this light and healing, because everyone on this planet, regardless of their actions, regardless of their, is always connected to that divine. It just got disconnected. I know it's a big step to realize, but because I've been trying in myself to see what I could be doing to bring more peace and light to people in the world who are experiencing trauma and loss and everything. And through this last couple of years especially, the more that we can gather together and meditate and love each other, then that's broadcast throughout the world. And Sunburst was set up that way as being a base station, a place for people to come and be renewed and to understand more deeply their connection with the Divine Spirit. And I feel the future is very, very hopeful. And during this time of the year, we're being bathed by this virtue of loyalty. Loyalty is a time, it's also the astrological vibration of Aries. Aries is a time to plant positive images in your thoughts and prayers so that these will take fruit into the future. There is a power, and that we, at the end of the service, we will do a thank you for the rain which was given to this land through our prayers. As we go into meditation, I'd like to, if everyone could just sit comfortably straight in their chairs. And you can relax your shoulders, just let your shoulders kind of drop. And then we can take a few deep breaths. Just feel the abdomen. Breathe from your abdomen. And Nicole is going to lead us in some bells to bring us into the quiet time. Reading from Sunburst founder Norman Paulsen, it kind of gives us a foundation, an anchor point, where we can go forward in true purpose and in loyalty to those divine truths that we will and that we have been discovering throughout our lives. These truths will help us through the challenges ahead. There are so many people walking on the earth today who have forgotten who they really are and what their divine mission is. That mission is to become one with the pure self, divine consciousness, and experience through this consciousness the incredible beauty of the earth through the five senses. God wants to live, to work, to play, to love, fully conscious within each one of us, and enjoy the creation with us. Yes, the divine experience of the full understanding of life in all its forms. This was projected to take place in humankind. Divine Spirit, Mother and Father, as man and woman, living virtue, knowing who they really are, the joy, the beauty. This is why Spirit, Mother and Father, created us and all that we see.
Oh my Lord, I feel you everywhere. Take my life, I put it in your care. Oh my Lord, I feel you everywhere. Take my life, I put it in your care. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you.
Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be
I
with
feel
you,
you
show you the love that
everywhere.
I've always held for you.
held for you. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you.
Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you.
Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you. Lord, let me walk with you, talk with you, be with you, show you the love that I've always held for you.
Lord, let me walk